Alright, so just got home from seeing the latest Michael Bay movie, Ambulance. And that's right, if you heard the words Michael and Bay put together, you kind of know what kind of movie you're going to get. It's going to be a lot of action, a lot of car chases, and a very simple plot. I won't even call it paper thin. Not like I would call Morbius, where things just happen for no reason. This movie actually has a plot that you could easily follow. It's nothing too difficult. But in typical Michael Bay fashion, things get overly done and overly complicated. It gets to the point where there seems to be way more actors involved in the situation. And for those that aren't familiar, I'll just give a very brief synopsis of the plot where the main character, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name because I'll pretty much screw it up, but he's a Marine back from Afghanistan or wherever. I missed that part. We were kind of late to the movie, and that's a totally different story. But the gist of it is that he's married with a young infant son, and the son has got some type of affliction, and the doctors have, you know, they want to do a surgery where the insurance won't cover it because it's deemed experimental. Nothing new here in the world of, movie plots. And so he goes to his adopted brother or what have you, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, who's a little bit more of a loose cannon. And Jake Gyllenhaal has, a bank heist coming up, and just so happens he needs an extra person, and lo and behold, you have the plot here. At the same time, you have an EMT who is kind of rough around the edges, and when I mean rough, she doesn't really care about her co-workers. She saves lives, and once the job is done, she's done. Okay, cold-hearted, what have you, and of course she's hot. In fact, I remember her when she played in the TV version of Until Dusk Till Dawn. Halfway decent show. In fact, there was a few other actors in this movie that was from that show as well. So anyway, moving on. So pretty much they go do the heist. It doesn't work as expected, and then lo and behold, they accidentally shoot a cop, and they hijack a police officer. They hijack an ambulance in order to save the police officer's life and to escape. Now, that's nothing different than what the trailers are out there have said, and pretty much the police are chasing after them through the streets of LA. And if you're from LA, you'll recognize a lot of the streets. It went through LA River, went through by, Staples Center, went through different parts. They kept talking about traffic, rush hour traffic about to happen. For those of you that haven't been to LA in the past couple of decades, there's always traffic in LA. This movie kind of suffered from the same fate as the series 24 back in the day, where Jack Bauer was able to get anywhere in LA in a matter of 5 minutes, which, if like I said, if you're not from LA, you don't know, but I used to live there many, many years ago, and traffic was bad then, so I can only imagine how bad it is now. So, in fact, this movie reminded me a lot of another movie that came out back in the mid-90s called Speed, starring a very young Keanu Reeves. Very good movie. It had its same level of unbelievability, but it was something you could follow. It rode that fine line of, okay, this is semi-plausible, and you could watch it. And if you haven't seen it, by all means, go see it. I highly recommend that movie. It was a lot of fun. It's high on action, and like I said, a simple plot, and that's perfectly fine. This one just takes that line of believability and just crumples it up and throws it everywhere. It's a 2-hour movie. It's about 2+ hours, and it's full of car chases, helicopter chases, bullets whizzing. If you want 2 hours of nonstop action, this movie is probably for you. For myself, there was quite a few times where I kind of had to shake my head. It wasn't to the level of unbelievability, like something to the level of Fast and Furious and something like that. But in this case here, there was a lot of situations where the car chases and the crashes didn't make a whole lot of sense. And I'll just give one small example here where you have the ambulance being chased by the cops, and half the times the cops were crashing, it was caused by other cops. Either cops coming in the opposite direction, or cutting each other off, or doing something along the lines where it just didn't make a whole lot of sense. And it was one of those things where you just kind of went, well, why is the cop going, it just didn't work. As far as the acting goes, the acting was fine. It was fine. There was a lot of different players, a lot of different, there was the police, there was SWAT, there was FBI, what have you. A lot of them had, punchy lines. In fact, quite a few times I chuckled because a lot of the lines were actually genuinely funny. I will say I enjoyed that part there. But there were other parts where I just kind of had to shake my head at the simple silliness, unbelievability, what have you. And just one less vital thing, one of the things that I kind of grasped onto was, the two main characters robbing the bank and, trying to save this particular police officer's life with the help of the EMT was kind of the focus in the first 30, 45 minutes. And somewhere in the middle, while they're still holding on to this premise of trying to escape and save this cop's life, it just fell apart. It just didn't make any sense because, and like I said, if you watch the movie, you'll understand why. Just with the number of car crashes, the number of gunplay, the number of just everything else, just off the collateral damage alone, you're going, okay, your premise falls apart. So anyway, it's pure Michael Bay. I'll have to admit, I've been a Michael Bay fan since the mid-90s. I enjoyed his Bad Boys movies. I still feel his best movie was The Rock. In fact, this movie kind of mentions that, and they kind of make a play off the wrestler, Dwayne Johnson. But since then, pretty much Michael Bay hasn't really done much for me, especially with the Transformers series. That they, being a fan of the Transformers as a young kid, I felt those movies were just really, really bad. And don't even get me started with that incredible abomination known as Armageddon. I watched that movie once, and I have sworn from ever watching it again. But as far as Ambulance goes, would I watch it again? Chances are, if it was a Saturday afternoon, if it was on TV, or if I was out of town and the family was sitting around and they were watching Ambulance, I'd probably watch it and just sit back and just chuckle at all the silliness. In fact, there was one particular time in the movie, and I won't go into too much detail, where a particular action happens, and I literally laughed so hard in the middle of the theater, and to the point where I almost lost my breath because it was just too much. It really was too much as far as its levels of absurdity. But and I guess from the laughter, I have to say I semi enjoyed it. If I were to give this movie a grade, I'd give it a solid C+. So take that for what it is. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got to say about Ambulance. It was big dumb fun, minus the fun. It was just big and dumb. Anyway, thanks so much for listening to what I had to say. If you'd like to hear more what I have to say, by all means, hit that subscribe button, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.